streaming audience,
Recording
and
in
of course everyone
progress.
here on Zoom. My name is Stuart Creek. I'm with Simplilearn, and we are the delivery partner for MIT XPRO for this program. So let me get started. We'll be talking about the Machine Learning for Business, Engineering, and Science program offered by MIT XPRO. Our role, Simplilearn, is as a delivery partner for them. And we're going to be talking about you a little bit. We'll be asking a few questions along the way. We'll talk about the impact of machine learning and why it is so vitally important to understand that impact, whatever field you may be in. We'll talk about how this program works to help you gain that understanding. We'll talk about some of the learner outcomes from the program, and we'll share with you enrollment steps, and I'll take your questions at the end. So please put questions into the Q&A box, and I will take them from there when we reach that portion of the webinar. So let's talk about the impact of machine learning. Machine learning is a tool to extend human capabilities. We have a world in which the flow of data has become exponentially greater than even just a few years ago. Experienced during the pandemic period of time where everyone had to work remotely or go into non-contact type of work. Things had to be done via the internet or via mobile devices rather than in person, and each of those transactions generates data. Moreover, the Internet of Things creates much greater number of potential data sources, and all of that data has meaning if it's interpreted correctly. But it's impossible for human beings to handle all of that data, to condition it, to process it into a form that can be analyzed and from which insights can be derived, I'm sorry. And it's important to have an understanding of how machine tools can help you do that. Machine learning specifically allows an automated system to take data from more sources, build better models, and then populate those models with data from the real world that can be compared against other measurements so that the predictive value, the prescriptive value, the descriptive value of those models can all be validated and set up in such a way that the more data the machine learning model receives, the better its output is in terms of conforming to what reality is. So machine learning processes allow you as a human to interpret and use all of that data that's coming in, even though it would be physically impossible for you to deal with that directly. Machine does that. The machine handles this extremely high rate of data and it turns it into meaning. So you're able then to draw insights and perform tasks that would otherwise be impossible for you to do. So this is why machine learning is so vital in all organizations today. And we use it in all of our everyday lives. The most mundane example being when you go onto Amazon to purchase something, you will get your recommendations of people also bought. That is a classic example of machine learning pulling in data from all the transactions that happen on Amazon, pulling in data, all the intel that they've gathered about the individuals who use Amazon, and putting that together to then provide a profile of you what you're interested in, what you've purchased in the past, and what other people like you have purchased, and what other people who have purchased the thing you're buying have also purchased. So all of that boils down to a set of recommendations where they feel they have the greatest possibility of matching a need you have to something they're offering. In order to understand machine learning, in order to be able to utilize it within your organization, you need to be exposed to a wide range of different machine learning concepts. Um, this is not about learning how to be a machine learning engineer through this course, not about learning how to be a programmer or architect of machine learning systems. The intent behind this course is to give you the solid foundation that allows you to evaluate whether a particular process that you have in your organization can benefit from a machine learning implementation. So, in order to be able to do that, you do need to have at least a basic understanding of the different pieces that fit into um, the machine learning process. So, statistics, mathematics, understanding how the models work and where they come from, tools like Python and MATLAB, Keras and TensorFlow, um, supervised, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning, recommendation systems, as I just described. All of these kinds of concepts, use cases need to be part of your repertoire so that you can understand what is possible to do, relate that to your organization's needs. I'm going to ask a question. Um, Everyone's here to talk about or look at learning about machine learning, but what has stopped you from doing that up until this point? So I'm going to open a poll. If you happen to be watching on the streaming systems, you can put answers A, B, C, D into your comments and leave this open for a bit. But what are the reasons why you've looked at programs like this in the past and decided not to go ahead with them? Numbers are still climbing. All right, numbers are slowing down, so I'll give you 5 more seconds to get your final answer in. And we're going to close the poll now. I'll share with you the result. The top two reasons that people haven't done a program like this is they haven't felt that they would get the practical experience that they would need to apply to their career, or they haven't found a program with a comprehensive curriculum. Um, and of course, right behind that is not feeling that you have time in your work schedule to fit in a learning program. So let's talk about this program and how that works. So MIT XPRO, online executive education from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, offers the Machine Learning for Business Engineering and Science program. And this is a 4 month program which requires a commitment of about 4 to 6 hours a week. It's all delivered online, so you can take it from anywhere you are. You are not required to travel anywhere. You're not required to sequester yourself in a conference room or lecture hall or hotel room. Um, you can take it from your desktop or laptop. You can take much of the content even from your mobile device. So this allows you to fit the program in um, to almost any uh, schedule lifestyle that you have. Um, the content of the program is delivered both by some pre-recorded content, but also by online live lectures by MIT faculty and instructors who will cover the different course content with you in weekly live sessions that allow you to interact with the instructor, ask questions, interact with your peers in the cohort, and get your questions answered directly from the instructor. As we'll cover, the curriculum is comprehensive. It covers a wide basis for the foundation in machine learning and a number of the use cases. So we'll talk about that. The QR code, by the way, goes to the homepage on the web for this program. And I'd like to do here is share with you a little video that MIT XPRO has put together. Oops, hold on a second. Let me stop. I'm going to reshare that with sound on. Apologize for that. You should be able to hear it now.
This course is about machine learning, modeling, and simulation in the world of engineering and science. Data-driven methods and machine learning are transforming the
Sorry.
way that engineers approach modeling and simulation.
Our collaborators are across many different domains, including computer graphics, medical imaging, and scientific computing.
Today I'm here to talk about quantifying risk of extreme events in complex systems.
We use the laws of quantum mechanics and solve them in physics-based models to understand the world around us.
Neural networks have recently proved helpful in addressing the question of seismic imaging.
And we're also going to be talking a little bit about hype versus reality. What are the kinds of things we can already do today, and what are the kinds of things we cannot yet do, and maybe with new development we might be able to do one day.
We then aim to peer under the hood and demystify machine learning. Let's begin.
All right. And that was just a little introductory clip that MIT XPRO put together. And what we want to talk about is what you get out of the program. So at the end of the program, you'll receive a certificate of completion issued by MIT XPRO, certifying that you've completed the program and mastered all of the course content. You'll also receive 8 continuing education units. If you are in a industry or a job that requires you to provide proof of continuing education either to your employer or to a regulatory body, you'll need the CEUs that this program provides. Prove that you're in an ongoing program of continuing education to keep your skills current. As I mentioned, live online classes delivered by the MIT faculty and instructors, and you'll be able to connect with your peers through an international community of professionals, of people who are involved with MIT XPRO learners. Let's talk about MIT. MIT is Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It's a 160-year-old institution. It has produced almost 100 Nobel Prize winners, a number of Turing Award winners in the computer science field, even a number of MacArthur Fellows, people who are awarded what are called genius grants by the MacArthur Foundation for being just exceptionally bright and inquisitive human beings. MIT has over 60 research centers, labs, and programs. So it's very heavily weighted towards research. And the MIT Pro program, the MIT Pro division, takes that academic research and applied research and turns it into education for professionals, working professionals. So having MIT XPRO on your resume is something that people will recognize. For this program, you have a certain number of prerequisites. Um, we do expect you to have college level mathematics, which means that you must have taken those types of courses. Does not require you to have a bachelor's degree by the time you enroll in the program. But you should have some experience, if you can, with MATLAB, which is a mathematics library for doing numerical analysis. And then we are looking for people who are working professionals looking to gain insights into ML applications, into use cases, and into how you can use machine learning in your organization. So I think the curiosity about the field is one of the most important prerequisites for this program. And ask a real simple question here also, just to get a feeling for who's in the audience, to ask how much experience you have. Are you currently in school? Are you fairly new in the workforce? Or are you more seasoned? Let this run for another 20 seconds or so. Please get your answers in. And numbers are flattening out, so I will close the poll in 5 seconds. Last chance. All right. So while we have about a third of the audience who are still in school, we have more than that who are more than 5 years of experience. So again, this is a program that's suitable across all the categories, but more geared towards people who have some experience in industry and understanding of what their business or what businesses in general require from machine learning tools. So let's keep that in mind. We'll move on. Talk about how this program prepares you. So this program is provided entirely online and consists of 3 parts. First, the orientation session that gets you familiar with the online learning environment, how to access your different live courses, all of the support materials, case studies, pre-recorded video content, all of that, which is in the same online platform. And from that orientation session, you move into the first course, which is the basics of machine learning, modeling, and simulation. And then the second course goes into specific use cases. It gives you examples of how machine learning has been used to solve different problems. At the end of the process, you receive your certificate. So let's look at course number 1, modeling and simulation topics that have been covered. You understand the fundamentals of modeling and simulation and how machine learning techniques, the modeling, turns data into insights by recognizing patterns based on statistics, and how then the patterns can be used both to describe what is happening in the real world, to predict what might happen in the real world through predictive modeling and simulation, um, and even to give prescriptive recommendations based on what your stated goals are and what the data is telling you. Spatial modeling, another aspect which looks at the relation of data to dimensions in the real world. Optimization and data-driven modeling are part of the process of machine learning, building up, refining models as data comes in so that and you follow on to that direct translation from the optimization process and how it works in machine learning. And then probabilistic methods that look at how to use the ideas of randomness and probability to refine models and to make recommendations. You move on to course number 2. Course number 2 is machine learning topics and use cases. A wide variety. Saw several of the professors in that short clip talking about the case studies, use cases rather, that they're going to present. So things like how to engineer lithium-ion batteries for a longer life based on data about their configuration and performance, machine learning for computational imaging, um, how to use neural nets to generate the missing data gaps in seismic surveys for oil and gas exploration, uh, how to use machine learning to predict the productive capacity of oil and gas fields and wells, machine learning in geometric representations, um, which has some fantastic applications up to and including designing new complex biological treatments and drugs through protein structure mapping, quantifying risk in complex systems using machine learning, which is extremely important in almost every field, and understanding what could happen if something unexpected does happen. And then machine learning for acceleration, computational materials discovery, again, the idea of being able to mine data to come up with insights about what compounds are possible. Practical machine learning in composite design, and uh, how to use information, again, about structure and configuration and performance to come up with new design technologies, new manufacturing technologies for composite materials, machine learning for data assimilation and inverse problems. So how to use machine learning to understand how to use data better. So, uh, I also talk about a capstone project. I don't think that there'll be an extensive capstone project in this, but let me talk about the MIT faculty and instructors, and you met a few of them in the video. You met Dr. Joseph Marzuk, Dr. Kulik, um, and Dr. Buehler. These are all professors who will be presenting different modules in the different courses, especially with regard to the use cases in course 2. You'll get a broad variety of use cases from different areas, and they'll be the instructors that you'll meet with on your weekly basis. They come in to do their particular topics. Again, you can see these are all senior or junior faculty members, professors and associate professors of their different disciplines, from chemical engineering to mechanical to ECS, computer science, to civil and environmental engineering. So this is a prestigious group of faculty. We'll talk about the learner outcomes. We're going to share with you a few of the testimonials. You'll see a few more on the program page if you go to that. Vivian D'Souza, Dana Incorporated, especially liked Professor Yusuf's course content, and so he has glowing things to say about Professor Yusuf's lectures. We have Rachel Naum, who is at Dassault Systems, which is an aerospace company. And she points out that, you know, math can be intimidating, especially if it's been a long time since you've taken a course in college. But the structure of this course brings you back up to speed quickly and helps you get into that mathematics groove, so to speak. Tolga Kaya, who is himself a professor of EECS, allowed him to get more background in machine learning, understanding how MATLAB enhanced the understanding of machine learning rather than um, more generic Python libraries. So all of these people and more who have taken the course have really good things to say about it and found it extremely helpful, extremely useful, and above all, very mentally and intellectually stimulating. So based on what we've said so far today, are you interested in taking this program? Again, not a commitment, but a level of interest. We'll leave this open. And we will be covering the cost and enrollment process shortly. So based on what you've heard so far, is this something you want to do? Watching the numbers come in. Yeah. They're leveling off, so you have 5 seconds left. We'll close the poll now. So just shy of 90% of our respondents said that they would be interested in taking this program, which is fantastic. And I will share with you the enrollment process. Well, the enrollment steps are very basic. You need to email us at askus@simplilearn.net. Again, we're the delivery partner for MIT XPRO for this program, and we administer the admissions. So we'll advise you, our learning consultant will advise you on what you need to submit. If you contact us by email with the initial inquiry, they'll tell you what you need to send in order to be evaluated. Again, we're going to be looking at your professional background, your mathematics skills, whether or not you have MATLAB experience, and we'll take that in totality and review your qualifications and determine if you've got a good chance of success in the program. Obviously, we want to take everybody, but we really only want to take especially people who we know are going to succeed, because it doesn't help anybody to enroll someone who doesn't have sufficient background or interest in the subject just for them to drop out of the program at some point. So we will evaluate your interest, enthusiasm, and ability to succeed in the program and send you an admission offer if you meet those criteria. The program fees are $2,375 for the 4-month program. Again, you can finance that with interest-free financing at $198 a month. So you don't have to pay the lump sum all at once. We also recommend that you ask your employer about tuition reimbursement. Many companies will support, pay for, or at least partially pay for their employees to take these types of ongoing education programs. So you need to contact your employer to see what their policy is and whether they would pay for the course up front, reimburse you after you complete it, or allow you some portion of the cost. So that's a policy set by your employer. For more assistance, of course, reach out to us at simplylearn.net. Bear with me for a moment. I will put that into the chat window so that you can all have that at your fingertips. One moment. There it is. So in the chat window, you find the link to the program page on the website, as well as the Ask Us at Simplilearn.net email. And we'll move on. For those of you who said you would be interested in the program, the quick question: how soon would you like to do that? Have frequent cohorts. Don't have the exact date of the next cohort. The people that Ask Us at Simplilearn.net, learning consultants there, will be able to tell you that. But are you interested in joining the next coming cohort, or maybe one after that, or somewhere further down the road? We'll leave this open for about 30 seconds more. And the numbers are still changing slightly. Okay, I think get your answers in. I'm going to close the poll in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So a little over a third of you said you would want to either join the next coming cohort or the one right after within 3 months. And for those of you who are looking further down the road, I urge you to contact Ask Us at Simplilearn.net so that you can get your questions answered, and so that you can so we can keep in touch with you to let you know when future cohorts are happening and other information about the program. So at this point, we're going to go to questions and answers, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment, as you don't need to stare at that slide. So do bear with me as I go through the Q&A. Not been able to follow along as I've been presenting. We have a question about this particular webinar today, which about whether we provide an attendance certificate. Generally speaking, we don't provide attendance certificates for these program overviews. So I apologize for that. Rathikhan asks, same question, okay. And we have a question anonymously. For those who are still studying at university with no job experience whatsoever, do you recommend this program? Is there a specific academic background that's favorable for the learning process of machine learning? So we would recommend this program as ideal for people who have been working and have that experience. But it is something that would be valuable to you if you're still studying university, if you have the requisite mathematics background, if you studied calculus, statistics, that type of thing, and especially if you've used some of the tools like MATLAB and Python programming. Those are the kinds of academic things that might get you up to speed for this program. But again, this is really intended as a program for working professionals. So I don't want to discourage you from applying, but I do want you, if you contact Ask Us at Simplilearn.net, to have that conversation with the learning consultant. Make sure that this is something that will give you the value you need. We, as I mentioned before, don't want to enroll you if it's not going to be a good fit for you, or if it's going to be at all frustrating, or if you find at the end of the program that you don't have the background or experience to apply the knowledge. So I hope that answers that question for you. What's off here? Are we going to complete this today only? Uh, this one webinar is a 1 hour webinar. It will be over shortly. And the program itself is a 4-month program. I'm not sure if I understood the question properly, but um, you don't have a time limit on, you have to rush over to ask us at simplylearn.net and enroll today. We do urge you to rush over to simplylearn.net or ask us at simplylearn.net and inquire today. But you have time to understand what the program is and see if it meets your needs. I hope I understood that question properly. Okay. Okira says he's not yet interested in starting because he doesn't have foundations for machine learning. And the one thing I can say about that is that um, this program gives you foundations in machine learning if you have the mathematics background to be able to understand the concepts that are being presented. So it's not that you have to come in with machine learning understanding. You don't even have to come in with the programming recommended MATLAB experience, but um, this is intended to give people an kind of grounding in machine learning concepts so that, said, that you can decide how and whether to apply them in your organization. So I wouldn't necessarily be afraid of starting if you don't have a machine learning background, because that's the intent of this program. What happens if you don't know MATLAB? So, excuse me, Tuhin. So the answer to that is you'll get exposed to that through the program. There are also other resources that Simplilearn can provide for you to help you get exposed to that, but you won't necessarily need to have extensive knowledge of that in order to be able to succeed and benefit from this course. So, and I hope that answers your question. Should we enroll in a course in MATLAB first? You can do that concurrently. I would want to ask your instructor how much background you really need to have in that in order to complete course 1. And again, there are resources that will allow you to take a primer or a refresher in MATLAB as part of the program or concurrently with the program. And how does the $198, $198 per month work? So what that is an installment plan. It pays off the 2,375 over time. So that's about a 12-month period, 12 monthly payments that total up to the 2,375 roughly, and then you've paid off the program. So rather than paying one lump sum up front, you pay it off in 12 equal installments. How long does the review process take? It should not take long at all. Usually we give an answer within a couple of days. So again, the prerequisites for this program are fairly straightforward. We don't have to go deep into looking into your background or that type of thing. Some of our programs require a bachelor's degree in a particular field with a particular grade point average. So for those, we have to do a little more extensive looking into your transcripts and that type of thing. But for this program, it's much simpler. This program, so I have an email address and not a name, but Bondo, this is asks if the program leverage developments in MATLAB, R, or Python. And it focuses mainly on Python and MATLAB for machine learning. Although R is an important tool in data science and machine learning, this program focuses on more basic skills so that you don't have to go into a lot of coding. What type of technologies? So what type of technologies will this program go over, and what is the advantage for working software professionals? So again, this program is oriented towards understanding the fundamentals of machine learning and how it applies, use cases, how it's been used in to solve different problems, so that you can gain insights on how you might use it to solve problems in your organization. Um, if you want to go deeper into the inner workings of machine learning and become a developer or engineer in the field, there are other programs that are more suitable for that. So you might want to ask us at simplylearn.net and ask that question about what your goals are and what specific skills you want to take out of a learning program. Uh, is there an exam template for the tests in step 2? Rashida, I don't believe I've got that available, but I'm not sure that you're going in the course 2. You're doing case studies. Not sure if the format includes extensive testing, because you're not really learning skills. You're learning about how things, how different problems were solved with machine learning techniques. But I would again ask our learning consultant, um, see if they might be able to help you with that or get information from the professors about that. What are the specifics of mathematics and statistics previously required to apply to this program? I would ask the folks, the learning consultants, but um, so machine learning is based on uh, being able to look at a data set, understand the underlying statistical principles that govern that data, what type of distributions it falls into, for example, and then to understand the modeling techniques that apply to different data distributions. So you need to have that level of statistical understanding, um, basic course in statistics, calculus. I don't think you need linear algebra. Um, so again, ask that question. And ask us at simplylearn.net. When is the program offered? The program is offered relatively on a every month or every other month basis. A new cohort starts, um, and again, it's a 4-month program, so the start and end dates overlap. Um, Learning consultants will be able to help you with that. I'm looking at, must you have Python coding knowledge? No, you don't have to have a programming background in order to take this particular program. It can help. Um, as mentioned in the prerequisites, it's useful to have Python programming and MATLAB programming, or ability to use MATLAB, but it's not a requirement for the course. Again, you can get um, supplemental material, supplemental studies that will help you get up to speed as much as you need to. Uh, Abdul Rahman asks, I want to be a computer vision engineer and I want resources to study for computer vision. Um, and if you want to be a computer vision engineer, Abdul Rahman, you probably can look at some of the other programs that we have that will take you more into the internals, the engineering and development behind AI and ML techniques. So you might want to ask our learning consultants what kind of course might be more appropriate for that deeper level of technical understanding. Um, Getting down to the last few questions here. So Blaze has Java and R background. You do not require a Python. He asked if you require Python or R. So again, this is going to be less emphasis on programming. You don't have to have an R background. Um, Python might be useful, but it's not required. So that's, but you shouldn't view that as a impediment. Ah, so somebody anonymously asks, I've already completed the master's program in data science from Simplilearn. What are the topics that this program will cover which are different from the master's program? That's a great question. So the master's program that you took did dig deep into uh, the tools and techniques and ability to develop, um, looking at different data modeling techniques, building a solution around those. Um, so you've got that kind of deeper understanding of the internals and the workings of data science with some exposure to machine learning in that program. This program looks at a bit more of the um, a little more extensively into what are the different pieces that go into machine learning, but it especially goes into use cases and how to apply machine learning to different real world problems. So that's, I think, where you would find most of the value for you is in relating what you learned in the data science program to how to turn that into solutions in machine learning. Be able to see, oh, for these types of problems, this is where I would apply machine learning. This is how I would do it, the kind of modeling techniques I would use. And because you have the background from the data science master's program, you're probably in a good position then to be able to actually scope out and specify how to build those solutions. Excuse me. That. Okay. Krishna asks, already working as a software professional, TCS, how will this program be useful for improving technical skill set? So again, if you are looking to learn um, the programming techniques and other specific engineering techniques to go into machine learning so that you can become a machine learning engineer, this is not necessarily the program you want to take. But if you are looking to understand the technology and how to apply it, this is a great program for you. And I think that covers all of the questions basically that we have today, all the time that we have. Going to go ahead, move to our last poll question. That is, I share my screen. So if you are in this program, do you need our assistance to get started now? Or do you have all the tools and information you need? Let us know. All right. And I think the numbers have stabilized, so we're going to show the answer. About half of you said you would like help. Please contact us at askus@simplilearn.net. Gonna share a couple more quick questions that came in through our LinkedIn audience. We're one more question I want to answer, which is, are there endeavors to democratize machine learning? And so, Roland, if I understand that question, the uh, the answer is yes. There's efforts underway to provide open source machine learning tools and efforts. There's efforts to make machine learning tools, models available through software as a service, platform as a service. So there are a lot of efforts to make it possible for more people to take advantage of machine learning technology, more people to contribute to it, and to help build up models. They're even, I mean, as as peripherally related as it is, there's been things like creating network computing efforts where people make the idle time on their desktop computers available for extensive uh, data analysis for things like the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. So you can see how that's providing a democratized version of the technology that many people can work with and contribute to. With that, I'm going to conclude our webinar today. I want to thank everybody who is here. Apologize that we did not have one of the professors live to discuss with you the program, but the professor did have to cancel out at the last moment. So I hope I've answered your questions and given you a good overview of the program. Again, do contact us at askus@simplilearn.net, and we will be glad to provide you answers to your questions, help you get enrolled. So we hope we can welcome you into the learning community for MIT XPRO. And thank you all for being here. Into the chat one last time, the link to the program page and askus@simplilearn.net email address. And that concludes our webinar for today.